We know that there's only one solution. Close the camps, bring them here and let them stay.
Demonstrators want all asylum seekers and refugees from the detention centres on Nauru and Papua New Guinea to be resettled on the Australian mainland. There have been allegations of widespread abuse in the camps. Andrew Thomas has more from Sydney.
One of the speakers at this protest in Sydney called Australia's refugee prisons on Manus Island and in Nauru industrialised gulags. Those here want those prisons closed immediately. Australia's government has said it does intend to close the Manus Island prison in Papua New Guinea, but has given no indication of when or how. Where will those held inside it go? Some have been there, living in limbo for more than 3 years. The same goes for the families held on Nauru. Well, finding out what's going on in those prisons is very difficult. Journalists are banned entirely, and the Australian government has brought in a law that prevents those who've worked in them from talking about what they've seen. The penalty's up to 2 years in prison. Despite that, some former workers have this week sat down and talked to me about what they saw inside and why they want those prisons closed.
Thank you. It is so pointless, the suffering that you see. It felt a lot worse than a prison, a lot worse.
The reason why I'm speaking out is because what I saw and what I experienced I thought was just absolutely appalling.
How could you not be affected? How could you not be affected by seeing children re-traumatised by a system that Australia has set up?
I'm a teacher, so I felt that, you know, I could do some good there.
We were in a fly-in, fly-out role, so we would come for approximately 3 weeks and then we would come back to Australia for respite.
My first impressions of Nauru was it's a tiny island, 21 square kilometres. We could walk around the island in 4 hours, and a bus trip without too bad a traffic would take you 20 minutes.
Physically very hot. It was one of those places where, you know, you feel the sweat trickle down your back.
The conditions were shocking. After a year of being there, the mould inside the tents really built up. When it rained on Manus, you know, the sewage would just rise up. You could see raw sewage running through Foxtrot. It was really disgusting.
There's no privacy. They're constantly being watched.
That security presence was always there, which is quite uncomfortable for a child, quite confusing.
There were guards everywhere. Everybody from a little toddler, you know, 2 or 3 year old kid, were all bonded.
They'd be scanned and checked with a metal detector.
They walk up, they put their arms up, they know exactly what's happening. And that's really strange to watch, that's become a normalised behaviour. You see a guard, you put your arms up.
It was three numbers, then 3 digits. And that's how the kids were referred to. Same would say, this is Muhammad, which was a very common name. Yeah, but what's his number?
You could hear those walkie-talkies all the time when you were on island, and you could hear when people had self-harmed and where and who it was, and, you know, they would just read their boat number and you learned the boat numbers.
This is not by accident. This is a deliberate attempt to break people's spirits, and the depression that they're experiencing, the loss of hope, the denial of an education, the denial of their freedom, and the fact that we're stealing their childhood from them. It is torture.
I'm just so ashamed that this is how Australia is behaving in the world's largest refugee crisis. Don't turn around in 10 years and say you didn't know. We all know.